Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you're watching this broadcast, right around the world, welcome to Casey Stadium, and I can tell you it is action-packed and the intensity is high, the stand is full. Big day here at the 2019 Indoor Cricket National Championships. We have two finals. The one that you're going to be watching here at the moment, though, is going to be the 15 and under boys game, which will be played between Victoria Blue and Queensland. We also want to highlight, of course, though, that there is a 14 and under girls game that will be taking place, which is played between the New South Wales Metro Blues and Victoria. That game can be found on YouTube. So, my name's Gary Lowe. It's a pleasure to have your company. Sitting next to me is Brock Winkler, ACT and Australian player. Brock, how are you, good sir?
Very well, Gary. How are you? Great to be here.
Mate, how good's the crowd? They're pretty pumped here at Casey.
Mate, massive crowd here, in for two Vic finals at the same time.
Yeah, and Victoria, they're going to be featured for most of the afternoon, so the home crowd advantage may have some kind of play. Would you be so kind as to take us through the Victorian Blue and Queensland boys sides for this under-15 boys grand final?
Most certainly. We have Victoria Blue, captained by Angar Thithin, Marty Islam, Obi Olsen, Callum Hankin, Joshua Sori, Pratham Raj, Ollie Moran and Zach Gretsch. And Queensland, captained by Campbell Corrigan, Caleb Arrold, Paul Draheim, Harvey Lammy, Jackson Pavey, Bailey Reid, Daniel Robinson and Nicholas Sheedy.
Yeah, and it will be Queensland to bat first. The official for this match is Grant Doran from South Australia. And a very big Victorian contingent in. We'll see what kind of effect that does have on the game.
Paul Draheim and Nicholas Sheedy to open the batting for Queensland, and it looks like Angar Thithin, the Victorian skipper, is going to open the bowling for Victoria.
Well, the captain will take the ball, leading by example. We always love to see captains take the first over of a big match. The grand final, we wait for the umpire to call play. Play has been called. Here we go, the 2019 grand final. Under 15 boys, and it starts with a play and a miss, and the crowd love it. Victoria, very vocal. Two on the leg side. Chance for a run out early. Moving across to the ball quite quickly are the Victorian players. Paul Drahm.
Drahm looking to play that one into the leg side net from well outside of stump. Hankin there at off sweeper, taking it cleanly and firing it back over the stumps. I did speak to Justin Perkins and Jeff Latham, the Victoria coaching staff, before the game, and they told me they have some very specific plans to specific batsmen for this game, so it'll be interesting to see what plays out.
We'd like to see that strategy is coming forward to that ball and punching it through what we'd call covers in an outdoor format of the game is Nicholas Sheedy. Of course, this game being live streamed at the Cricket Australia indoor Facebook page. Certainly encourage you to hit like and share. A very good down up two shot. Hitting it hard into the concrete, getting it high above the fielders. So I think I attributed that last shot to Sheedy. That was Paul Drahm, my apologies. That one was Sheedy.
End of the over. Immediately, I'm not sure if you can see it on the coverage, but they're deploying a very deep leg side sweeper, a regulation leg side fielder, and then the fourth player in the front court is on the three line very deep for a drive. So I know for a fact Jeff Latham has taken pages and pages and pages of notes on just about every team they've played this week. Good to see the analysis and research going in. And we have Zach Gretsch bowling the second over. And flat. Hankin at off sweeper. Victoria Blue going through the rounds undefeated, 8 from 8, and then winning through beating Queensland yesterday in the major semi-final, so yet to lose a game. Oh, that's hit Raj in the head. It's an immediate dead ball, and we'll have trainers on the field very quickly.
Yeah, immediate concern for the player. Justin Perkins runs straight out on the court. Jeff Latham, as part of this coaching team for Victoria, also equally concerned. Players will come over, and it's, unfortunately it does occur in our game from time to time, but much like outdoor cricket and any other sport for that matter, rugby league, AFL.
Yeah, fortunately he doesn't look in too much discomfort. Definitely get that checked out, of course.
Yeah, and receiving a warm round of applause. It's Pratham Raj. No time limit when there's a HIA injury response. Coming on is Reddle.
Yeah, so Victoria are having a HIA replacement player. Brendan Reddle, of course. So that ball will be a dead ball.
Yes.
Not counted, and we'll re-bowl it, so no runs attributed. Draheim will return back to the striker's end, as we see now. And Zach Retch will continue his over with 5 balls remaining.
It's good officiating there by Grant Doran. So it'll be interesting to see if Raj will return. I can inform all our guests right across the country and be it right across the world that he is being treated. He's in good hands. There's certainly no blood or anything of that nature. It's just a very nasty knock to the head. So need to make sure he's okay.
Trainers from Elite Sports Match Over Australia looking after Pratham over there. Do a great job all week. Look after multiple teams, as we've said, that one played to the side net for 2 by Drum. Good solid start so far from Queensland. Thrown up, full toss. Taken on the full, played down into the ground, down, up, over, off sweeper for 3. Fantastic shot by Sheedy.
Well, back net. Runs there for Queensland. This is good from them. They're on 20 after 2 overs. And, of course, the 15 and under boys division did feature international guest Sri Lanka that came along, and a team chock full of spinners, brimming with talent. And unfortunately for the Sri Lankans, they couldn't come away with the win, but they did come away with a draw.
They did. I think they drew against Victoria White. Is that correct, Gary?
Yes. They did, sir. And I can tell you that Brock Winkler's called that without even looking at any stats. So kudos to you, good man.
Having coached in that division, I did keep a very close eye on all of the results.
Yes, 90 all it was.
Very talented side.
Just a bit of concern for a photographer that's up against the netting. Chance. Oh, that would have been gone. Absolutely. Marty Islam just missing. Yes, we did have an unfortunate scenario last week where a photographer was given a bit of a nudge away from the net. So I think the umpires have been a little bit vigilant on it this week. So those nets do depress quite heavily when people bounce into them.
Especially when they have a gentleman like Callum Hankin over there at off sweeper bouncing off them. Big bloke, as that is taken by Marty Islam at leg guard. First wicket for Victoria, and they're up and about.
Yeah, it was a good catch too. The real key to taking that one was he stayed very low to the ground the whole time. You'll watch the replay. Thanks to playcricket.com.au. See how he's just kept his knees bent there, cradled the ball with both hands in the celebration, throwing it into the 3 net with complete disdain. Again to Marty Islam. He gets his hand on the ball.
Very good dive by Drime. You will notice, Gary, I've picked up here earlier that this is the third over of off spin. Maybe this is a tactic that the Victorians have identified.
Yeah, well, Justin Perkins and Jeffrey Latham, they're real students of the game. And, that's the coaching staff here for this 15 and under boys Victorian side. And while I have an opportunity, I might just give a bit of a shout out to those that played in the open side of the draw in the 2019 National Championships, including yourself, Brock Winkler. It's been an awfully long 2 weeks, and congratulations to you and all those who participated in last week's half of the championships and continuing on this week.
Thank you. It has been a very long 2 weeks, but I know that there's a lot of us who have done both weeks, not just from Victoria and my state, but also I know there's representatives from Queensland, WA and South Australia and New South Wales, so all the states actually. That off the top of my head I can think of at least one coach who or official who has contributed to both weeks, so it's really great to see.
Third ball opportunity presents itself for Victoria, and that's navigated very nicely there by Drum, the number 5 for Queensland.
A fifth and bowling is second over here, Gary. 4 overs a spin in the first pair.
And quite, I won't say unique because unique means it's once off, but it's quite rare that you'll see a bowler bowled out in quick succession like that. You know, generally, and this is a sweeping statement, but you generally only see it if you see a play that's really on top of the batters, someone that's really got the wood on their opponents. But at the moment here, kind of even Stevens.
It's a great shot. Full toss. Played hard to the ground and the leg side net for 2. 23 here. 3 balls left in the first pair. Well fielded down the front court there by Josh Sawrey, I think.
Victoria and Queensland finishing right at the top of the table. That one's crunched out on his toes. Victoria Blue finishing on 50 competition points and Queensland on 42.
I believe Queensland lost 2 of their first 3 games as well, Gary, so they've really come good and peaked at the right time at the back end of the week. There's that one inside edge. Doesn't go to hand, onto the back net, onto the umpire's net, sorry, for 1. Umpire Grant Doran signals over, and that is the end of the first pair. They walk off with 25.
And just speaking further to your point, yes, Queensland did lose their first match to New South Wales Metro, 93-89. They won their second game against South Australia, 139-66. But they did lose their third game, 83-92 to, ironically enough, Victoria Blue. So, Brock Winkler, all over it like white on rice in a glass of milk and a paper plate in a snowstorm, brother.
Again, having coached this division, it was I've been able to see the talent on display, and Queensland definitely got 2 of the stronger sides early in New South Wales Metro and Victoria Blue.
And I can see that your side, ACT, came 5th, and they also had a draw.
We did. We drew 126 all with WA. Unfortunately, couldn't defend 126. But WA, very strong batting side.
Ooh, that has got him right in the town halls.
Marty Islam, he really pushes them through. He bowls little innies that tend to skid through, but he does get the odd one to pop, and that's got him in the top of the leg there.
Top of the leg,
I think.
Campbell Corrigan is absolutely wearing a box. We heard it.
It's good to see, though, Gary. It is. It's the most important piece of your cricket equipment. Don't worry about the cricket bat.
I'd rather, if there's one bit of kit that I need, that is it, baby. Well, this is express pace, isn't it, here?
He's bowled really sharp all week, and he has. I think he's been a little bit unlucky with his bowling. So both of these players, Campbell Corrigan on strike and Marty Islam bowling to him, played in the Junior World Series victorious Australian under-15s team. So know each other well. Marty this week only taken 4 wickets at 11.38 runs per game. Again, I really don't think that speaks to the talent of his bowling. He unfortunately pushes that one down the leg side, and that'll be the end of the first over the second pair. 8 from it.
We've discussed the Victoria Blue coaching staff. It would be remiss of us if we didn't draw attention to the wonderful coaching staff from Queensland. Andrew Sweet, long-time servant to Queensland indoor cricket, assisted by Brendan Korst, who, of course, played in the Victorious Open Men's Queensland side, managed by Phil Shannon.
Andrew Sweet, of course, the Australian under-15s manager of the World Series team last year as well. Also great to see, of course, in the previous game we had Ryan Dowse, who was victorious from Queensland in the Open Men's Division, and now Brendan Korst, assistant coaching the 15s. Great to see some of the best in our game feeding back into the juniors as Callum Hankin beats the outside edge of Jackson Pavey. Third ball scenario.
I've just had a little whisper in my ear about the update on Pratham Raj, so we'll get to that after this third ball opportunity has been done and dusted. Well, how is that not out? What's happened there?
Goodness me. Outside edge has just missed off stump, and it's come off the leg of the keeper and trickled away for one, and they've got through.
Awfully unlucky for Victoria. So in terms of the injured number 23, Prathan Raj, the medical crew are just assessing him for his head injury assessment to see whether he will be able to rejoin the game or not. And thank you very much to umpire Craig DeCast, who's given us the update. He's passed his concussion test, so he knows the recipe for Lamingtons. And they're just going to see he's got a bit of swelling. It's just below the right eye, so they're going to monitor that. So he may come back, but concussion test, all good.
Hankin pushes that one down the leg side. I believe if he doesn't come back, Gary, being a HIA injury, Victoria will get to pick the bowlers that bowl his 2 overs, and also will get to pick the batter who bats for him, unlike a different substitute player.
Yeah, it is, and it's a rule of a certain degree of contention. Won't get bogged down into it too much because I'll be here all afternoon discussing it, but yes, quite right. The Victorians get to decide whom bowls and bats, and he hasn't bowled an over, Raj, I don't believe, so.
No. As we see, Marty Islam coming on for his second.
Yeah, this is really interesting here from Victoria.
Like I've said, they've done a lot of work. They have specific plans, and this is possibly one of them. That's well bowled from Islam. Hitting him in the knee.
If it goes down, will he come back? So again, just getting the inside news. We're giving you all the latest and up-to-date information on Pratham Raj. So coaching staff assure me from Victoria that he will be coming back on, provided that swelling does go down. So they're keen to get him back out on court. But meanwhile,
Islam back on his mark there.
he is steaming in.
He slid a couple down the leg side, missed his marker slightly. If he gets back on there, Campbell Corrigan's a good player, but he might be able to sneak through.
And sometimes he just gets his radar a little bit off, doesn't he, Marty Islam? He's fast, but also needs to be accurate and get that line and length.
Unfortunately, I think he's gone dot leg side this over, which really takes the pressure off the on-strike batsman. Corrigan digs that one out into the 2 net.
Yeah, showing good class with the Queensland branded indoor cricket bat in his hand, as we often see a lot of players these days. They'll get their state or their names on their cricket bat, depending on which supplier they like to use.
I think he's got both on there, Gary. He's got his state and his name.
Does he? You got good eyes, mate. Oh, you're pretty handy.
Oh,
player,
hang
mate.
on. No, I lied. It
No,
just says
you-
Queensland on the back of his bat.
There you go.
So Marty Islam finishes 9 for 14 off his 2 overs. Final over of the second pair here, as Josh Sawrey comes to the back of the net, who, if I'm not mistaken, is the leading wicket taker for Victoria in this tournament. 16 wickets through 8 games, averaging 2 a match. He's only conceded 30 runs at 3.75 per game. He is statistically Victoria's best bowler bowling the 8th over.
Well, it's a good time to bowl your best, as we know that no balls wide select sides can be re-bowled at the batter's request, so we don't want any of them creeping in. And if you're a Victorian, you wouldn't mind seeing a few wickets as well. Queensland 44. Game right in the balance here at the moment. Leg side shot along the ground, but safe. They look for a second run. Pavey looks back to Campbell Corrigan, who has absolutely no interest in going for a second. Victoria employing a very standard field. That ball just staying a little bit low. Jeffrey Latham, support staff out the back here near the commentary box, is like a cat in a hot tin roof. He's jumping and ducking and diving and weaving. Straight shot, it'll go for 5. The crowd love it. The fist pump comes up. The number 10 for Queensland, Pavey. Really enjoying that one. Beautiful stroke, high elbow, hitting through the ball. No risk associated. Well, this is a good way to finish for Queensland. We quite often hear Brock Winkler talk about momentum going into the last over of a batting partnership. And, well, momentum is all with Queensland here. Can they get over 30 for the batting partnership? We'll soon find out. Last delivery of the over. Oh, they will indeed. Well, some homework to do here for Victoria. Queensland moved to 56, and just when it looked like Victoria were on the rack, Queensland fight back.
So, just having a quick look over the major semi here. Those two gentlemen did bat together in that major semi. Jackson Pavey and Campbell Corrigan walked off a 34, so 3 runs lower than the major semi. Queensland came out on 105 in the major semi and saw it chased down by Vic Blue, who made 114. So they won't be too worried at this point, I don't think, about the score. But obviously they will want to take a few wickets here to sort of wrestle back some momentum.
Ask him some questions.
As we see, Pratham Raj has re-entered the court and Riddell has come off. We actually have a very special guest here next to us, Luke Thomas, the director of Elite Sports Mashers. Luke, how are you?
Good, thanks, guys. How are you guys?
Very well. Would you like to talk us through Pratham and coming back on?
Yeah, so it's passed all concussion testing, so he's clear as a day, but the only thing that we were slightly concerned about is that swelling around the ice. That's why we iced it up for that good 5-minute period. And as long as that doesn't swell up and affect his eyesight, he should be right to play out the rest of the game.
Very good. I don't have too many other questions, to be honest. But thank you very much for your time, Luke. Great to have you in.
Enjoy the game. Thanks.
Thank you.
Now, we really do appreciate the support staff taking time to come to the commentary box and to give us an update. It's a brilliant insight, and I can assure you that all absolute care is taken with the health and well-being of these players.
Callum Hankin bowling his second over, the 9th over of the match here to Caleb Arrold on strike.
Well, that would have gone straight to the highlights reel And Arold knows he was a dead duck.
Just Marty Islam there at leg sweeper, getting up in the air, jumping, turning and throwing in the one motion, and a direct hit I reckon would have found him short.
He's a real athlete, is the number 16.
Hankin, a very big lad, has bowled with good pace all week in the under-15s division. As he just has a bit of a false start there.
Oh, that's what I like to say. I love that. Yes, I love that. Indeed, false start.
Not a dead ball in indoor cricket though, of course. Oh, another one. This top edge into his face will get Elite Sports massage staff onto the court again. This one looks a bit more.
Yeah, this one does look a little bit more nasty. That's Bailey Reid down there, is it not?
I believe so.
And he's not right.
He's not well. He needs to go off. Yes.
He will, I would be, oh, he is not coming back.
No, I would agree. Very well done by the Queensland coaching staff and the elite staff to get down to him as soon as possible and make sure he's all right and get him off the court and make sure he's safe.
Yeah, he. I don't think he knows what sport he's playing at the moment. Even he's in absolute la-la land, and that's not what you like to see.
Really unfortunate.
But I can assure everyone, extraordinarily unlucky. Very, very rarely would you see two injuries of this nature in one game. Even just the one injury of that nature is pretty extraordinary. But that one's quite nasty. And I would be heavily surprised, extremely shocked, in fact, to see him come back into this game.
I would agree. So this is a scenario where he will not return, and Queensland will pick their own batter to join Caleb Harold in the middle. Interesting to see who they pick.
So as you look at the crowd here, it is starting to build up. There's still plenty of action that it will be occurring here at the Cricket Australia indoor Facebook page. Directly after this game at 12:30, it will be Victoria Blue taking on New South Wales Metro with the 17 and under girls. And at 2:30, New South Wales Metro taking on Victoria. So a real New South Wales-Victoria battle in the latter half of today.
It looks like Campbell Corrigan's coming out, Gary.
And do you know what? That's
Queensland skipper.
Extraordinarily, I've just had to catch myself there because I've got to remember that Queensland pick the batter. I was about to say, well, just said he was hitting them like watermelons. But in this instance, the team of the injured player are the sides who will be batting and bowling. This will obviously affect the bowling innings as well. They'll have to do it as though there's a player short, so select two bowlers. One to bowl the 15th and one to bowl the 16th.
So Campbell Corrigan, who's coming out to bat again, of course, batted in the second skin there with Jackson Pavey and put on 31. He is the leading run scorer for Victoria, so it's a very good pick by Andrew Sweet and his coaching staff, averaging 17.44. He's not the runs average leader. The runs average leader is, in fact, on the court right now, Caleb Harold at 17.63. So really strong pair. Realistically about to be formed by Queensland through a very unfortunate event.
Yeah, very much so. And we can see the sports trainers are really making sure that everything's okay. There's quite a bit of discussion here.
I think Victoria are going to do a bit of warming up again.
Well, the umpire's looking at the ball.
The umpire's been throwing the ball, I think, just to make sure that it's not
tampered with.
Exactly, and looks like Victoria are going to run through some drills to keep themselves warm. It has been a bit of a break in play here.
And this is pretty extraordinary scenes here at Casey Stadium. Tournament director David Shepley has now made his way down to have a discussion, whether it's about, well, I'm sure it wouldn't be about the health and well-being of the player in question, because the support staff and the medical trainers are responsible for that, but perhaps about clarity on what happens.
Yep.
From here. It is a grand final. You don't want to be getting things wrong.
And David Shepley, of course, the best in the business.
Oh, yeah.
We'd rather have, or not rather have anyone else down there.
No, he is the best in the business. There's no doubt about it. David Shepley, Hall of Fame inductee, literally wrote the rule book. Not every single rule, but a good 80 to 90% of them.
Correct. So. Interestingly, Campbell Corrigan hasn't entered the court yet, so just waiting on confirmation that Bailey Reid won't be returning, and he can enter the court and take his place. As you can see, Victoria just going through a little bit of front court work to keep themselves warm.
We can see that there's a great deal of care and concern for the young Queenslander in question, and it was quite a nasty blow, but can't see from down here. We'll wait for the support staff to come back and let us know, but he does seem to be okay from here. Obviously, we're quite a distance away.
We'll seek an update for those watching at home and get it to you when we can. But Campbell Corrigan has now joined Calabarrel in the middle, and we will resume play with 2 balls remaining in the 9th over. Jeff Latham just coming past and telling me that he will be reassessed later, so he definitely will not be returning.
I would be, and obviously I don't want to be putting my foot in it saying that I'd be heavily shocked that he comes back and that he does come back. But, yeah, I'd be surprised. That initial blow and...
more how he exited the court, I think, Gary.
Yeah, he
was troubling.
He was not right. I mean, he couldn't walk under his own kind of steam and required heavy assistance. He does seem to be in much better shape now as this game continues here. We'll certainly keep you updated. And as we know, yes, of course, this is a final and all that kind of stuff, but things are just much, much bigger than a game of indoor cricket, gee whiz. And
I'm sure this has thrown a spanner in the works of the Victorian plans here.
Oh, you can take that big thick book of plans and throw it in the bathtub, mate. It's
pretty much gone, I reckon.
If you had contingency plans for everything that's happened here today, you'd be Albert Einstein and Nostradamus all rolled into one.
As Obi Olsen takes the ball. Campbell Corrigan playing that one in the offside net for 2. Agar Thithen there, clean hands but missing the direct hit.
Oh, this kid's going to be out. No, it's not. It's dropped. I think that he just couldn't get the trajectory of the ball there. Yeah, I could be reading far too much into it, but I'm not sure if his injury and his swollen eye could possibly have something to do with it. But and another one, desperately close. Jeff Latham, Justin Perkins, both of them spinning on their heels, looking to the heavens. It's almost as like they're out there playing themselves.
I can see Justin Perkins over the coaches crouching on the bench off the ground. That's not a position I've seen him take up too many times. That's great fielding from Sori in the front court, saving a run. Plenty going on here, Gary Lope.
Oh, there is heaps going on.
This wonderful Casey Stadium facility. Great shot from Campbell Corrigan.
Hit very firmly, hit very strongly. That'll be 4 scored. Caleb Harold runs to the back of the court with steel in his eyes. He's very impressed with himself with that shot, and why wouldn't you be?
Definitely takes them to 16 now. Caleb Harold 9 and Bailey Reid. Now Campbell Corrigan on 7. So as I previously mentioned, Victoria beat Queensland in the major semi, 114 to 105. So Victoria will know that they can chase down a total in excess of 100, but will want to keep them down inside that if possible. See Pratham Raj bowling his first over. Off cutter. Past the inside edge of Caleb Harold onto the knee. Pratham Raj, the contribution leader for Victoria. Near on 11 runs in the positive per game, as we see Jackson Sawyer with another bit of great fielding in the front court.
Some may argue that Victoria have been slightly unlucky at the moment here. They've been presented some opportunities. They've only just missed out on them. That ball stays a bit lower, but weighted on it quite nicely has Corrigan.
Leading edge, dropped. And run out chance missed.
Well, I don't want to use the word debacle, but that really was. Definitely should have been taken with the hands and absolutely should have been run out of the non-strikers end. Should Victoria go on to lose this match, they will rue about 3 or 4 missed opportunities in this batting partnership.
Look, Gary, that's 3 guaranteed chances realistically in this division of this age group that should have been taken. There was 2 catches for the previous over, and then there should have been a wicket one way or the other in that ball. That's 15 runs plus the runs that they have scored off those deliveries.
Correct.
And Queensland would be looking at probably a 3 or 4 skin at the moment, and instead they're currently on 22 and 78 the total. It's played flutter into the net for 2. Sawyer getting clean hands on it, but not being able to get it back to the stumps. As Justin Perkins calls his team over for a chat prior to the start of the 12th over.
The under-15 boys division. Well, Victoria Blue, they've been the team to beat for the last couple of years here, going for the three-peat.
Indeed. Defeating the ACT in the grand final last year, Gary.
You remember it well, do you?
I watched it. Yeah, I wasn't in Toowoomba last year, but I do remember watching it. Victoria Blue were a class side. I think they had 7 players in the under-15 Australian side, most of whom have gone on and are playing in the under-17 boys game later on this afternoon. Harold flat off Zach Gretsch, fielded by Josh Sawyer at leg side.
So the sports trainers and medical carers here in the centre are just giving us an update on what's going on. Brock Winkler.
So Bailey Reid has been officially ruled out for the game, so he will not be returning. However, he is okay. He just won't be able to participate.
Yes, and I mean, I'm the absolute furthest thing from any kind of medical trade stuff. I mean, I would struggle putting a Band-Aid on a paper cut, but I think that is the absolute correct decision from the trained sports staff here, and they're brilliant at what they do. They honestly are. It's a high-pressure situation, and they've got to make decisions on the fly and care for these players when unfortunate events happen. So just want to do a big shout-out to all the connections related with the care and maintenance of these players. So just repeating that Bailey Reid is all okay. He's going to be fine, but will be ruled out of this game. So when Queensland come out to field, they'll have one of their replacement players come on as Caleb Harold. He's very forceful, and it almost looks like when he hits that ball that he's just relieved to be getting the runs. He feeling the pressure but dealing with it well is Harold.
He is. He's playing well today. He's given a couple of chances, but they haven't been taken, and he's taken full advantage. He's in 34 now. Is final ball mix-up and taken off the knee of a front court fielder, straight to guard. It's an off sweeper. Down to the stumps, and Caleb Ballard found well short, and that's a big wicket for Victoria.
Yeah, well, they desperately needed it because Queensland was starting to skip away. And so often you see it. That last delivery brings them unstuck. Daniel Robinson and Harley Lammy will be coming in now for Queensland. And these two batters, well, they can certainly bat, I can tell you that. Harley Lammy, 16.63 is his run average. Daniel Robinson, 15.63. And, to be fair, there's not a single player in the Queensland outfield who averages less than 10. So that's a pretty talented little scorecard if you're looking at it there.
Definitely. I think Victoria will really be looking to keep this pair under their personal averages. And they need to keep the total under 110 here realistically. Anything more than that will be a daunting chase. Definitely not impossible, but it'll give the Queenslanders a lot of confidence going into their bowling innings.
Yeah, Queensland have been hitting some big scores. Victoria capable of chasing down low 100s.
So Josh Sorey coming on, Victoria's strike bowler, leading wicket taker. Yeah, Victoria averaging 113 batting this tournament, so they would hope to keep them down around that total. That comes off a front court fielder for one. Queensland with the back, Gary, how are they averaging?
Well, they're averaging some mammoth scores. They should be well clear of 115. That ball just missing the stumps. You know, note down in that third batting partnership the missed opportunities from Victoria. I don't want to harp on it, but that really could be the difference between these two sides. So Queensland are on 87 at the moment. Oh, things could have been so different.
So different. Like I said,
sorry to stomp on you a little bit there, but I think they're going to need to keep this skin down to 20.
Yeah, I agree. That last pair really should have been high single digits or low teens with the amount of chances that were created and not taken. They did finally take one at the end there, as we see Josh Sorey creating a third ball opportunity here in the final ball of the 13th over. It's wide. Batsman still sneak through for a run. And 3 off that ball.
Maybe the little wide trap work. And talk to me about third ball opportunities. Full and wide, down leg side. Mate, you're the expert. I'm just the guy with the big mouth. Like, tell me.
So the widely agreed strategy at this point in time is probably the full and wide delivery. On a third ball, you want to take as much doubt out of it as possible. And the easiest way to get a wicket is obviously for the batsman to miss it, the keeper to catch it, and to take the bottom stumps. If that's not possible, then to get it to the fielder and throw it to the top stumps, but that obviously requires extra steps for it to be completed. So a lot of people have obviously worked out that the full and wide is a good option and have started to move across to negate that shot and just make it into a normal full delivery. So the bouncer is also an option, down leg side's also an option, and then there's also the option of bowling an off-speed delivery. So plenty of different ways to approach it. Straight to Sorey. Straight over the top, taken by the keeper, but not out by umpire Doran. Gary, you've umpired many a game and plenty of national grand finals. How hard are those ones down at the striker's end to officiate for runouts?
Yeah, they are incredibly tough. I talked about it a couple of games ago about the field of vision that is limited. I think one of the game broadcast was Chris Griffin. So when there's a run out at the non-strikers end, the field of vision for the umpire is much wider, as that's flicked up and up down for 3. Because that field of vision's much wider, you can use your peripheral vision a little bit more. Though when it's towards the umpire's end, obviously it's more of an acute angle, which means it makes it much tighter. So you often see an umpire slide back in the umpire's stand to open up that field of vision for themselves. But yeah, very, very tricky. The run-outs are always hard. I always say good umpires get the wides and leg sides correct. Great umpires get the run-outs right.
And always the utmost respect for the umpires doing our job. Without them, we definitely wouldn't have a game, as that one is played high up into the net for 2, short and wide outside of stump from O.B. Olsen. This pair moves to 15. 2 overs remaining in the Queensland batting innings, and they've reached 100.
Well, we know that Victoria are capable of big scores, but in a final, I just think that you don't want to be chasing big totals. You know, you don't want to have to put yourself in that predicament.
Not at all. Well, we saw in the previous game, Gary, for those who are watching, that Queensland put on 122, and scoreboard pressure on WA really does tell something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. It forces people to play a game that wouldn't be their natural one.
It's well paddled. As the good friend Lukey Ryan would say, that's a paddling.
Yeah, I actually did hear him start saying that in some broadcasts.
Off the pitch, played forcefully, threw off sweeper for 3, 5 runs off that ball.
Yeah, and goes without saying, but that's not what you want. Heard a term that, again, Chris Griffin, one of the broadcasters here this weekend, used the multiplier, that no ball plus the extra runs. You know, if it's a wide or leg side, obviously not ideal, but generally it's just the wide or the leg side. Maybe if the wicket-keeper fumbles it, you get through for the extra one. But no ball front foots, no ball off the pitches, no ball too highs, they are killers, because quite often the player will get bat on ball and score extra runs. So, yeah.
Indeed. Just straying from their line a little bit. Couple of full tosses, got the short balls, as we've said, once no balls coming in from Moore in here. So I know it's a bit of delivery, but really well played there from Robinson. Anyway, they're 110 with 7 balls remaining in this innings.
You're just joining the broadcast. This is the grand final of the 2019 Indoor Cricket National Championships in Casey Stadium in Victoria. Victoria Blue taking on Queensland. The voice you're hearing right now is Gary Lowe. And my colleague sitting next to me is Brock Winkler, state and national player, and of course, state coach.
Yeah, happy to add that to the resume now. I think I'm pretty proud of that one over the playing one.
Well, you should be. You certainly give a lot back to the sport, and I know that'd be a great thrill for those young athletes to have someone like yourself guiding them under your tutelage. Even when you come out and present shields as you did to the 21 and under men, I know it would be pretty cool for Cameron Bullard to receive that from you.
Just happy to be given the privilege, so it's good to give back. And I myself was very early on coached by our current under 7s. That's a stumping, excellent hands down the leg side by Ollie Moran. Terrific leg side stumping, and finds Harley Lammy with his foot up at the back. Just going back to that, so yeah, multiple World Cup winner Darren Richards is the current under 17 ACT coach, and he was one of my very first coaches in the Indoor Sports Centre. So they're a very tight-knit community. That's hit back straight to Prathan Raj. 2 and 2 balls. Is this the big momentum change that Victoria need, Gary Lowe?
Well, Victoria, they're on the march here. The crowd are coming into it. The DJ fires up. And all of a sudden, things have changed around.
This will bring this massive Victorian crowd into play here. Inside edge, but played well, down and into the ground. They'll settle some nerves for Harley Lammy. 3 balls remaining, 103. This has really pegged them back. They were on for a big total here.
Yeah, and again, the last over of that batting pair, Victoria have come good.
An appeal for a catch.
Well, he has a bit of a think about it, umpire Grant Doran, but wasn't an overly strong appeal for Victoria. Of course, an umpire will never give out the delivery based on an appeal, but if it's a particularly weak one, tend not to give it.
Hard taken by Marty
that
Islam.
would have been good.
That would have been a remarkable piece of fielding. He's picked that up wonderfully off the bottom wire. Had a shy at the stumps, and I think he would have found Robinson short of his ground had it hit. Final ball of the first innings of this under-15 boys grand final. It's Played down and up into the offside net for 2 by Harley Lammy. Queensland will finish on 108th. I think that we'll have a very competitive game on our hands.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I think it's going to be a real 50-50 about what occurs here. Get out the coin, give it a toss. Even Stevens.
As we'll just quickly go across and have a look at some of our comments from the 238 people watching on the Cricket Australia Indoor Facebook page. And Jeanette Connell says, keep building Queensland, let's go boys. Pam Whitmore says, go Vicks. Kelly Maxfield saying what we're all thinking of you, Bailey Reid, so glad to hear he's okay, and that really is a big relief. We will provide another update if we get one, but he is safe and sound, just obviously not to take any more part in this game. Lanice Norris says Zach Gretsch is amazing. He did bowl well in that bowling innings. Great to see so much support for these stars of the future on our Cricket Australia Indoor Facebook page. Please stay with us for the next few hours here on Facebook as Gary Lowe, and in the next 2 games Chris Griffin will be leading you through the 17 and under girls final and of course the 17 and under boys final. I believe both featuring Victoria, one against Queensland and one against New South Wales. Yeah, it'll be a cracker. And just over to my left, we're talking about swapping shirts and jerseys and things of that nature. The Sri Lankan and ACT sides coming together, and that is a wild merchandise trade over there. I'm telling you what, jerseys, jackets, pants, you name it, it's gone. It's been swapped and traded. It's like a rug sale, Gary. It's all going. Yep. Fire sale, it's got to go. So yeah, there's going to be some brilliant games of indoor cricket happening this afternoon, and the juniors, well, they bring the big crowds. What I love about the junior divisions is not only do you have the athletes, but you've got Marin Parkettle that come along, Arnie Murgatroyd, cousin Frank, everyone will come along to view it. So you tend to get pretty big crowds at the junior tournaments, and just makes for a really good atmosphere. And I'm astounded that players of such a tender age are able to deal with it in the manner in which they do. Talking further to the games that will be happening here this afternoon at 12:30, Vic Blue and New South Wales Metro, and that's in the 17 girls. And at 2:30, Victoria taking on New South Wales Metro in the 17 and under boys. I got that wrong, so I apologise to Vic Metro on both divisions. Sorry, New South Wales Metro, I'm just having an absolute stinker. What did you say? I said Queensland was going to participate in one, but New South Wales have won through them both. In the 17 under boys, they defeated Victoria in the major semi last night, an absolute nail-biter by 2 runs, I think. Yep, that's right. As we get back to the 15 and under boys national final between Victoria Blue and Queensland. Caleb Barrell to bowl the first ball. Angara Thithen and Callum Hankin are the openers for Victoria. And they'll set out in pursuit of 109 for victory. You know what, Gary Lowe, I know it's a long call, but you haven't seen a super over yet. Oh, mate, I'm absolutely frothing for one. I would love it. No, the tournament director doesn't want one because it takes more time, but I want one. Oh! Well, there should be a big appeal there, and I'd love for it to be given. Half an appeal from about 3 players for an LBW. That would have been terrific first ball. Well, watch this replay. I reckon that's pretty close. Oh, mate, I tell you what. Just sliding down, but go up. Oh, what a stroke. Second ball, though. Gets a full toss on his knee. Played down and up off his legs for 2. Exquisite batting. If I'm in the umpire stand and Queensland give me a good appeal for that, I am gunning you. I'm telling you, gone. I'm very harsh with them. But there's a chance that the strikers then not given by umpire Doran. Thithen quick enough to get down there. Yeah, look, I think as with outdoor, if you don't offer a shot, then you're in a bit of strife, and it's the umpire's prerogative to decide whether it's going to hit the stumps, whether it's just clipping or crashing into them. So one Fuller played down into the umpire's net for 1. Arrow pushing these through, reasonable pace. Left-handed Callum Hankin on strike. Up a little bit shorter. Gee, there's some tall timber in this division, Gary. They make me look short.
Yeah, well, they make me look even shorter because I'm shorter than you, baby.
I definitely blended in. I think a couple of the opposition coaches thought I was actually a player a couple of times, which is fair enough. I did have a shave recently this week, so fresh-faced Callum Hankin down and up into the umpire's net for one again. That'll be over. Good start there from Caleb Harold. 5 off it. Like I said, this first over, just forgetting the batsman's eye in. I'm sure, obviously, Victoria had some very specific plans to batsmen, but I'm sure Queensland will be the same. Andrew Sweet, Brendan Corst, students of the game, and will definitely have very specific plans. Queensland in the last game had some very specific plans and executed them very well.
Yeah, they did indeed. And absolutely sure that Queensland would have something similar in mind in terms of the planning process. And getting a little bit of love on social media. Said great commentary, boys, from a person called Gemma Lowe. Do you think she might be any relation to myself?
Possibly.
I reckon absolutely.
Family and friends from not just the players, but also the commentary, which is very good to see.
Yes.
Thanks, Gemma.
Yep. My beautiful wife, Gemma, and my little 10-month-old son, Charlie, I'm sure hunkered by the television and listening to the commentary. Thanks for joining us. And everyone that's there. Anjanette Connells, loving the live stream as well. So thanks very much for your company. Hit share, get the word out as we come back here to Casey Stadium. Soft hands, one scored. We go back to Brock Winkler.
Campbell Corrigan, the Queensland skipper, bowling this second over. Spent a little bit of time with training with Campbell last year in Townsville. I lived up there. Excellent player. Bowls his off goes, but does have a quicker one that he pushes through. Not that time, just inside the leg side line, and called fair by umpire Doran.
Had a very good game, has umpire Doran, can I just say. He's had to deal with some irregular scenarios and made some very good decisions. So continue that good form.
Back-to-back South Australian Grand Final umpires too, Gary Lowe. As that is well played by a fifth inning of the two-net for two, obviously. Good for me. Campbell Corrigan will bowl his last ball of the over. Taking the long runner in the corner. And beats Callum Hankin. That's over. That'll take a dot. 11 from 2 overs. Very watchful batting early doors here.
Yeah, it's interesting. You know, you want to be confident, you want to go there and score runs, but by the same token, you know how devastating the loss of a wicket can be. Increased pressure when you come in first, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I know these two batsmen have plenty of notes on who's bowling, and they'll know who they want to target, play through the line too. Intent's a really big key here on these very wide Casey Stadium courts. Jackson Pavey bowling his leggy third over. Great feet from the fifth, and moving across into the line of the ball and playing that one down and up. Again, Gary Lowe, I reckon there's been a leg spinner in just about every game that's been played here at Casey Stadium this week in the junior tournament.
And that's pleasing to see that the craft is still alive, because we're dying to see the next Shane Warne here in Australia, aren't we?
Indeed. Or, of course, Adam Zampa, Chris Boyce, and Cameron Boyce.
I tell you what, Chris, he would be loving hearing that kind of noise.
I have seen Chris bowl plenty of leggies. He bowled out of the back of the hand last week, which were leg cutters. And obviously, former Australian T20 player Cameron Boyce. Cameron and Chris both national champions last week, as we see a fifth and play that one down up for 2. Still very watchful. Maybe very keen to see if Pavey throws one up here, whether Hankin plays through the line of one and looks to hit the back net.
Well, he certainly tossed it up.
He's played watchfully. You see Campbell Corrigan here off sweepers, much deeper than you'd probably expect a normal sweeper to be, as well as a leg sweeper. And again, well bowled, really well bowled from Pavey. Good flight. Hankin in 2 minds as to whether to come forward and charge down the wicket or just play off the front foot. We have a third ball scenario. turn. Almost cut him in half, but he's done well to get his hands in line, punch it under the 2-net. They're just building, Gary Lowe.
They are building. They're doing it brick by brick, and that's the way to go about it. There's no requirement to do anything other than that, and I'm actually a bit boring and a massive fan of teams that do that. I like to see it.
Totally agree. I can't remember a chance this pair yet. Maybe one, but that's how you wrestle back the momentum and keep the other team flat. Just boring them out of the game. If you give them a bit of a sniff and a couple of chances, they tend to stay up and stay in the game. If you give them absolutely nothing, they wonder when the next chance is going to come. And if that chance does come, whether they're going to take it, as we see Drum bowl one inside the leg side line for another dot.
And I agree with you wholeheartedly. We saw that in the Victorian fielding innings, that the chances were coming and their tails were up. But if you can just, as they say in this format of the game, just bat your opposition out. Or I like to kind of coin the term candle snuffing activity.
Yep. Just put the lid on it. Oh, great catch. Campbell Corrigan in the front court, one-handed at leg side. Top edge from Mathithan, and there's that chance, and it's taken straight off the bat, Gary Lowe.
Well, if this isn't a glowing endorsement about why indoor cricket is brilliant for your outdoor game, I do not know what is. The degree of difficulty there is about a 9.5.
You have to read it off the net and then to take it with one hand, outstretched, away from his body, away from his eyes. Just a terrific, here it is again, and what a catch from Campbell Corrigan.
Now, if you can take catches like that in this kind of environment, then you will catch anything in outdoor cricket. Glowing endorsement right there. That should be the next advertisement for Cricket Australia, I reckon.
Oh, and called no ball, too high by umpire Grant Doran. Drum's done very well to get it over Callum Hankin's shoulders in a batting stance, of course, is the rule in indoor cricket. But I agree, Gary Lowe. Indoor cricket alone to make your outdoor better. Batting, bowling and fielding. Batting, seeing the ball and playing it under your eyes. Bowling, variations, being able to bowl to a plan, and fielding, of course, the quick reactions and being able to throw the stumps down. As Hankin plays that one well into the side of the field with only one fielder on it for two. With that wicket in the fourth over, Drum finishes 1 for 2, and this pair will leave the court on 20. Probably just under par at the start here, chasing 109 for victory. Coming to the crease now, we have Marty Islam and Pratham Raj.
Yeah, Raj averaging 15.57 and Islam a very, very healthy indeed, 18.25. The highest average for any Victorian in this division, of course.
Not quite the highest in the division. There was someone in the under, Gustav McEwen, I believe, for WA. Averaged 28 with the stick this week, which is just absolutely remarkable. 28.25, 226 runs from 8 games. So there's certainly some talent that didn't make this final, I'll tell you that.
Mate, you are a walking indoor cricket encyclopedia. Not bad.
Again, I have had my eye on this division pretty thoroughly, obviously, having coached it.
I think you've had 2 eyes on it and probably recruited a few other people to be going through it as well. That's a brilliant recall. That's brilliant. He might very well be looking down the barrel of a player of the tournament there. Gus McEwen from Western Australia.
I would agree he'd get pretty close, as Marty Islam was pretty fired up with that first 2, whacks it down and up. I see Daniel Robinson bowling the 5th over and just pushing that one down the leg side. Interesting to see how these two go about it, whether they do play with a bit of intent and try and push mid flatter, or, like you said, Gary, ball them out of the game with some excellent batting. I think that's a pretty quick answer there. That's a great shot.
Yeah, it is a great shot. And you'll hear it a few times during a game of indoor cricket, but it just completely removes the fielders from it. All they can do is watch it fly high above their heads. No opportunity for a run out. This batting pair moves to 6. And that could be 3, but it will not be.
Well fielded off his own bowling by Robertson. Just beating.
Possibly a faint edge, maybe.
I didn't pick anything up, but your ears are probably better than mine, Gary.
Yeah, I think there is, just from the reaction of the keeper. And I think I saw a deviation from the Burley Seacombe coming off the bat. Of course, Burley Seacombe, the premier ball supplier of indoor cricket balls, not only in Australia but right across the world.
He's pushed through the offside and picked up by Harold as he has a shot at the top stumps. Posing figure in the front court there, Caleb Harold.
Yeah, and again, hard to believe these guys are 15 and under boys, and the 17 and under boys, well, they just get even bigger again, if you can believe it.
I'm looking forward to some of those 17 under boys. I know these 15 under boys in a few years coming and probably sending down a few bumpers at me in the open men's in a couple of years.
Right, they'll be sending down some tune music, no doubt. I don't want you getting too big for your boots, mate, you know.
That'll never ever happen, I don't think. They're not very big to start with. Oh, as we see a no ball too high.
And
First ball, and he apologises.
yes, and to the player that faced that facial injury earlier on, so I'm sure that that's opened up his eyes a bit.
As he gets his head in line with that one and paddles it flat into the net for two. Shows some real courage there with the pace that Harold's bowling for Raj to get his feet across with his head in line with the ball and play that kind of shot. Dug out by Islam, powers through. Even the direct hit, he would have been home for one. Half an appeal for an edge, taken cleanly by the keeper, but not given by umpire Doran.
And
Beats him
again, well.
Again, maybe this is a plan to Gruff and Raj because he has played that paddle very well to go full and wide. Third ball opportunity. See if he hits the same spot. Get the ball through to dry home and keeper.
And what did you like about that play just there, Brock Winkler, if anything?
Look, I was really happy with Islam's backing up.
Yeah.
And the eye contact from Raj, as soon as he knew it was off the pitch, looked at his partner. Islam only took 2 steps, is what he needs to do, and there was never ever any chance of a run out through some confusion on the third ball.
Yeah, it's a very good demonstration of what to do in the event. A good early call as well, which made life a little bit easier as we see coaching staff Andrew Sweet at the back of the court having a discussion with Lammy.
Just quickly having a look at the Cricket Australia Facebook, indoor Facebook page comments. They may not be here in person, the Queenslanders, but they are heavily present, have a heavy presence on the feed. Matt Schubert, former Queensland Open men's player. Bruce Schubert, Rocky Rockcliffe, Peter Bush, all Queenslanders barracking for them to get home today as Harley Lammy bowls a dot to Marty Islam.
Yeah, of course, there are lots of states and territories across Australia that love our sport, but none fewer than Queensland. They are absolutely mad keen for it up there.
These two really keen on paddling those length balls, even just fuller of a length, getting down on one knee and playing across the line into the side of the court with only one fielder, Campbell Corrigan, covering a lot of space there at leg side. Excellent shot. Once again, getting low and they're playing over the top, and Queensland unable to keep it off the net. 2 runs scored. These two have moved to 20 halfway through the 7th over. Scores 40.
He swung hard there and hit the top net and come down just for the 1 run. Victoria, 41 runs, chasing 109 for victory. Grand final of the 15 and under boys division here at the 2019 Indoor Cricket National Champions. Chance at the top end, and that is bread and butter. Queensland are up and about, and that could be a game changer right there.
Great hands from Campbell Corrigan, kept it off the net, straight back to drum at the keeper, and they finished the play. Both players at one end, both batters at one end. Easy throw to the top end and taking the stumps off. Great play, Queensland.
Well, in the arm wrestle that is this game, Queensland have just flexed their bicep a little bit. Victoria, what can they do to fight back? Well, that was either going to be feast or famine, wasn't it?
It was. Just before that wicket, I was going to say that if this pair can get to 30, I reckon we are pretty evenly poised, but that wicket has turned the tide. It is indoor cricket though, anything can happen. As we saw last week in both Open Men's, the preliminary final, Victorian ACT, and the Open Men's final, Victorian Queensland. I only say that because Jack Gray just commented and said, great commentary lads, love it, go Vicks. He absolutely turned the game against the ACT on Friday night.
Yeah, he did with some extreme bowling.
Great bowling play. I think he ended up with like a plus 30 as that one is whacked up and down, side to back four. Marty Islam really looking to seize the initiative back here.
Yeah, he's decided that enough is enough, and he wants his team to get back in front of this game, as that's two. Good fielding, could be out. Big appeal, very big appeal. Had a long, hard look at it, did umpire Grant Doran.
What a terrific dive from Marty Islam. Be good to see the replay here, thanks to playcricket.com.au. Campbell Corrigan over the stumps.
Yeah, he's got there. Good appeal, look at that. All the arms are up.
Bottom edge. Pratham Raj just telling his partner, look for the two nets, get some contact.
Well, I think Islam's got other ideas.
I believe so. As he plays through. Not seven, side to back four. Another great shot. Finding the corners.
And we see it so often when a player goes to the back net, they come back and then tell their batting partner, you just do side nets. You just leave the big hit to me, brother.
Pratham Raj looked for that, but was beaten by a very good ball. Off cutter into his body. Beat him. Final ball of the 8th over.
Late call, but they'll get through. That's a good fight back from Victoria.
Pair leads with 29. I said if they got to 30, I reckon it was even Stevens. And look, I'll count 29 as 30. One run will make a big difference at the end of the game, but right now I think it's got Victoria in a good position to still go on and have a good crack at this. 30 a pair, Gary.
Yeah, well, it's certainly going to be interesting. There's no doubt about that. And, whoever said indoor cricket was boring is an absolute nutter.
Who said that? I don't know anyone who's actually said that.
No one possibly ever could. Because this is just action by the second here at Casey Stadium, the world-class Casey Stadium, and you quite often hear people say that as a throwaway line. It's world-class. This place actually is world-class. I've got absolutely no idea where the World Cup is going to be next year in 2020, but and please understand, I've got no discussion with Cricket Australia. I am not a Cricket Australia guy. I know zero. I know less than zero, in fact, so this is purely just the opinion of Gary Lowe, the individual, but it wouldn't surprise me if this stadium was certainly in the short list of places that would be considered for a World Cup. Some wonderful indoor cricket centres in this country. Many, many of them would be able to host the World Cup and do a wonderful job. But this one here, wow. It's a real picture, and congratulations to the city of Casey, Mayor Amanda Stapleton, her team, and the YMCA that managed this facility on council's behalf.
Very much agree, and of course that World Cup will be played at the same time as the World T20, being hosted here in Australia as well, so it'd be great to have those two events run side by side.
And that's why I think that a Melbourne venue might get a slight little tick, because obviously the grand final of that T20 World Cup will be at the MCG.
As we see Nicholas Sheedy bowling the 9th over. Just pushing that one down leg side as the score moves to 6. Obi Olsen on strike. Josh Sorey. Umpire's net first, I believe. We'll wait for the call from umpire Doran. He's given one. Umpire Doran, of course, a very good player himself. Played in the Open Men's Division for South Australia last week. Also played at the Masters tournament in the over 35 division for South Australia. And I believe was selected in the Australian over 35 side to tour to South Africa.
Yes, he certainly was. And when that man holds an indoor cricket ball, it looks like a golf ball.
Oh, absolutely.
He is a massive human being.
He's very intimidating when he stands at the cover position and you're batting, and you've got almost 7 feet of Donkey Doran staring you down, trying to keep the ball off the net. But really top-class fella.
Yeah, he
and
is.
great umpire, obviously.
As a good following in this format of the game. Sometimes I get caught between saying this format of the game and this sport. I mean, indoor cricket is an extension of cricket itself, an additional format that can be played. So Victoria on the sideline, they all stand up. So they're sensing the gravity of the situation here. They're going to be willing their team on. As things start to get a bit crazy here at Casey Stadium. We've had a couple of games prior. We've got a couple of games after. This is the game right in the middle. Brock Wickler's trying to arch his back to see a score, but you might not be able to see what over it is.
I can. It's end of the 14th, I believe, and I believe Victoria batting. Quite hard to see from over here. No, Victoria fielding, New South Wales Metro are batting. New South Wales Metro requires 16 from the final 2 overs to take out their 14 and under girls division. That's going to be a ripper finish over there too. So please don't leave us here, but if you can get both screens up at once, get onto the Cricket Australia YouTube channel and follow the end of that game, because it's going to be a ripper as well.
Back here on show court 1 though, we've got Sorey hitting the umpire's net. What do we call that? Because every time you say back net, then you think it's the 7 net when you say back net. So
I do call it the umpire's net or the front net also, but it's sort of hard to say. That's powerfully played into the ground. Olsen gives that one a fist pump to his mates on the bench. Daniel Robinson, final ball for him in this under 15 boys national final. So it's back down the pitch, taken by Campbell Corrigan at receiver, and that'll be 1 run. Takes the score to 64, and again, I said 30 a pair of winning in the game, and they have got exactly 15 from their 2 overs, so they are bang on the run rate.
yeah, they are. And I'm not going to say the cliche term strap yourself in, because you hear it 48,000 times during various sports calls, but get some kind of a device and hold it firmly across your body so you don't go anywhere. Because this is going to be a huge finish.
Outside edge, in the air, taken. Great catch by Drum with the keeper. Really well bowled by Jackson Pavey.
There's no doubt about it, he's caught a piece of the concrete as he's come through, but I'm sure that a piece of the ball has also hit, because there's just, with all greatest respect to the bowler, there's no way that ball is deviating that much. I'm sure, no Pavey can move it, but that's turned a good 2 metres. And one that goes the other way, he's just got that one wrong.
That was the wrong un.
It was, indeed. As he comes back, warms up his hands, does the traditional rubbing of the hand on the netting.
I had a chat to someone about that the other day. It actually does nothing. It's just a sort of a...
Something that we do.
It's just a habit, I think. It's a part of my personal pre-ball process.
Yeah.
I do it every ball, but it doesn't actually dry hand at all. It's just something to sort of maybe take your mind off.
You don't think it dries the hands?
Not really. I mean,
I mean, are they that sweaty to begin with?
Oh, a little bit. You definitely get clammy midway through a game when you're running around as much as these guys do and jumping and flicking, as you've seen just there. And I think it's just a habit thing.
Well, you'd have to travel a long way to find an indoor cricketer that doesn't do it. I think it's something that we all do, ingrained in our DNA. Well, that's done him all ends up. He
What a delivery.
had no idea what was happening. We watched the replay, comes back in, just missing. Paul Drum, expert wicket-keeping, reading that one. Pavey on top here. Sorry getting that one away as big official calls over.
I mean, they're all going to be big overs from here, Gary, but this over coming up is a big over. They have to leave their last pair, look, no more than, they have to get the last pair under 40 runs to win, I reckon. So that would mean that these two would need to get at least 3 from this over, which will be bowled by Harley Lammy, my apologies to Harley. Brendan Corst, open men's play for Queensland here, assistant coach. Trying to spur his lads on here.
Lunny taking 8 for 73 in his tournament thus far.
Oh, they're through. Passed off sweeper for 4. Josh Sorey, big play. Full of length, play with intent. Snuck through.
Every run is critical here, and the easier you can make the job for the last 4, the better it will be. Brock Winkler, you might be able to have some eyeballs on what's happening on the court behind us.
Victoria have just won the 14 and under girls national title, 100-97.
Wow. And 5 runs scored, and the Vics are pumped. They're up and about. Olsen, the number 8. We talked about Victoria being on the march earlier on. Well, they're on the march. They're on the sprint.
Terrific shot again. Punishing that fuller length in these big courts.
Queensland, what can they do to stem the flow of these runs? That's not going to be it.
Josh Sorey, last over this pair. Asks Harley Lammy to bowl that one again, please.
Well, we've had the Victoria girls get up and win. We could possibly have the 15 boys here get up and win. And don't forget, there's still 2 more games this afternoon with Victorian teams in it.
Look, 4 from 4 is on for Victoria at the moment, and grand finals participated in.
Could you imagine absolute scenes here at Casey Stadium if that unfolds?
As I've said previously, if you're in the Melbourne area, within a drive from Casey Stadium, get down here and see the stars of the future, because they are putting on an absolute show here today.
Oh, you're as mad as 10 mad things if you don't get down here, mate, honestly.
100%. This Vic crowd will have a big impact. Straight to Caleb Arrow, throw at the top stumps is wide. Gets through, and that's 30 for the pair, Gary Lowe.
Yeah, and it's all going to come down to this last batting partnership, and I would much prefer to be viewing it or watching it instead of being out on that court. The pressure that would be on these young men would be immense.
Absolutely immense, and that leaves exactly 30 for Zach Gretsch and Ollie Moran to chase down and win the 15 and under national title for the 3rd successive year for Victoria Blue. Let's see what Queensland can do. Coach Andrew Sweet giving them some instructions, what they need to do for the final 4 overs to wrestle that shield back from them. Campbell Corrigan, Queensland skipper, will be bowling the 13th over. Campbell, of course, as I previously said, current Australian under 15 representative. Bowling to Zach Gretsch, and that comes off the inside of his bat onto a leg and dribbles away. Zach Gretsch, part of the 13 and under Australian team last year, so this is his first year under 15s and participating in a national final. Excellent to see.
Yeah, very talented, averaging 15.71. Ollie Moran's 9.57, which is towards the lower end of the run averages out of the 8 players that are out on court here today for Victoria. Moran has the lowest of the 8.
This is going to be a nail biter, and that is dropped onto the 3 net.
Every run is so critical, and fumbles like that, they add up.
Nicholas Sheedy there, unfortunate leg sweeper. Really well played from Zach Gretsch, got in line with it. Turned it around the corner. Only one fielder on the leg side for Campbell Corrigan, who now asks the umpire, or tells the umpire to be bowling around the wicket. Too short. Punished. Up into the roof of the net for 2, and Ollie Moran loves that. Big thumbs up to his mates on the bench. Final ball of the 13th over. 8 from this over so far already. And that's really well bowled for Corrigan. Quicker delivery. Sneaks inside the leg side line, and that'll take a dot into the start of the 14th over. Very interesting finish here. It's going to be an absolute nail biter. Please stay with us on all channels, especially the Cricket Australia Indoor Facebook page. Just repeating that Victoria have taken out the 14 and under girls division, 197, defeating New South Wales Metro. Nicholas Sheedy bowling the 14th over, and that is played down and up by Ollie Moran for 2 more.
Yeah.
20 runs to win.
It's getting tight. It's getting very, very tight. Goes without saying, and it's obviously very evident, but wickets. Gee, if Queensland could nab one.
And it is absolutely bucketing down here, Gary.
It is hammering. I thought that there was a slow leak in one of the gas valves or something around here at Casey Stadium, but it is raining cats and dogs outside.
Again, this is not only a great advertisement for the game of indoor cricket, but so is the weather.
If you haven't done so already and you're on the socials,
we've got the
Sportscast,
bomb has snuck up. Look at that.
Stop it. Stop it right now, you freaks.
Another great shot, met with a massive roar from the Victorian bench and the Victorian crowd. Ollie Moran playing that one for 2. How good a sportscast, Gary.
Thank you, Sportscast, for bringing us the bomb, the Bureau of Meteorology. The rain, it's hammering here in Victoria, but not inside, but it is raining runs for Victoria. They're edging their way towards that 109 win mark. 108 Queensland scored in the first innings. 1 delivery left in the 14th over.
Really sensible cricket so far from these 2.
If you haven't done so already, hit the share button right now on social media. There would be ample people that would want to watch the end of this game. Very tight call. Well, well, well.
Snuck in. Nicholas Sheedy, number 15 from his 2 overs, but bowled well without reward. As we see Caleb Arrow walk towards the back entry of the court. And he'll prepare to bowl the 15th over. I reckon they'll need at least 1, Gary.
They would need 1. Yeah, they will need 1.
I don't think they can get there without 1. Tight bowling and dots maybe, but Victoria, if they do have risk, they're going to have to take a risk at some point.
Two scored, high into the netting. The crowd go up. We talk about it so regularly that everyone is vitally important. You've heard it from Brock Winkler. Queensland need 1. Where's it going to come from? Who's going to be the hero for the Maroons? Someone's going to have to stand up and take this game on.
Oh,
Jammed out. Good Yorker falling to his feet.
what a delivery that was. Bowling will win or lose this game for Queensland. If they bowl in the right areas, they'll create enough chances to take one. If they don't bowl in the right areas, Victoria should cruise to victory.
Ollie Moran on strike. It's called no ball off the pitch. 2 runs added to the total.
Unfortunate, like I've just said earlier in this game, following dots with wides is a coach killer. Andrew Sweet and Brandon Courseback here, giving instruction to Harold.
The tension here is palpable. Good fielding in the front court. Good communication between batters.
Really good call from Ollie Moran. He hit that straight into none in the front court there, and as soon as he did that, he didn't move, looked at his partner and called no.
Back net, and it will be 4 runs. Well, 103 is the total here for Victoria Blue. They're moving towards Queensland's total. The pressure is on. Dot ball or a wicket is a must. Victoria, they're getting exciting. Asked us to come back from the side of the court. Last ball, 15th over. Comes down, and that has missed by a whisker.
That's the end of the 15th. One more, and of course with the head injury that we had previously, this is the these bowlers will be bowling their 3rd overs for the match.
Yes, that's right. If you weren't around for the earlier broadcast, or the earlier part of the broadcast, there was an injury.
Bailey Reid down there, I can see him down there. He's sitting on the bench. He is very much awake.
And with this particular rule, it's the fielding side that get to determine who bowls. So that's a very good pickup by Brock Winkler there to bring that to our viewers' attention. These bowlers have not been selected by Victoria, so it's 2 of the best bowlers that Queensland have, and they get the benefit of bowling 3 overs.
And Ollie Moran and Zach Gretsch require 6 runs from this full drum over to win the national championship. Oh, and that one is straight through in first ball.
Well, folks, it is coming down to everything. 3rd ball opportunity.
Massive moment.
And it'll be hit for 3. They get through Victoria. The table has been set, and it is time for the main course, and what a scrumptious one it is. 1 wicket, Brock Winkler's called it. Queensland need 1. Where's it going to come from?
Oh, mix up. Oh,
They get
didn't
through
go
for
to
2.
hand.
It's gone through for 2, I'm sure.
Yes. Scores a level.
Brocky Winkler, super over. Super over, is it going to happen?
Oh, I think it's going to be tough to happen from here with 3 balls left because it could go dot, dot, run last ball. But let's see.
Victoria progress past the total. They're now in a situation where they can send in the night watchman to block out the 2 next deliveries, and I think that's exactly what will be happening. Gretsch is saying to Moran, don't run, but Moran's still on that 3 line, so I'd hate for there to be a mix-up. I think they need to discuss what they're going to do. They do exactly that.
Victorian manager Jeff Latham, they're giving instruction. Juddy Perkins standing on the bench. Straham comes in.
Well, that's the most solid forward defence in the history of indoor or outdoor cricket. 1 run for national championship glory. Will it be Victoria? Will it be Queensland? Here it is, folks. We'll let you sink it in. And there it is. Victoria will win by the solitary run, 109 to 108, in one of the greatest games of indoor cricket you will ever see. Commiserations to Queensland, but boy, oh boy, Victoria, worthy winners today. Take a breath, get the defib machine out, get the heart started again. Brock Winkler.
What a game, Gary Lowe. Absolute show of just class from both sides. Terrific batting, amazing fielding. I can't believe these guys are 15.
Well, that is a glowing endorsement for the sport of indoor cricket. what a performance we've seen here today. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Queensland and Victoria. What an outstanding display of indoor cricket.
We'll just stay with these pitches, folks, as the teams shake hands.
And look, let's be honest, Queensland, they're crushed.
Absolutely.
They are absolutely down in the dumps, and you can't blame them for it. I mean, from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows. We'll stick with these images as Brianna Binch offers the championship shield to the victorious 15 boys Victorian side. Well, I need to have a breath. I need to go to a doctor, mate, because my heart is about to jump out of my chest. That was just amazing.
What a game of indoor cricket. Absolute pleasure to be able to watch and commentate for everyone at home.
Yeah, and look, right across the board, it was all even Stevens. Nothing separated these teams. It just came down to who had the steal at the end. Congratulations to the official, Grant Doran, who I think had an exemplary game. A very good job. And, well, Brock Winkler, there's still plenty more action here at the Cricket Australia indoor Facebook page.
There is.
Later on this afternoon, we can view the 17 and under girls and the 17 and under boys happening at 12:30 and 2:30 respectively. Mate, it's been a real pleasure having you a part of the broadcast team this weekend. Not only have you led the commentary in more often than not the aspects, but certainly the insight you provide, mate, is of the highest standard, and you're always very welcome back in this commentary box, mate.
Thank you very much, Gary. It's been an absolute pleasure to be alongside yourself, and thank you very much to yourself, Sportscast, and of course everyone here at Casey Stadium and all the supporters. Just another wonderful national championship to be a part of.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's where we'll leave you for now, but we'll be back in just a short 25 minutes for Victoria Blue taking on New South Wales Metro in the 17 and under girls division.